I'll be uh, I'll be a bit annoying and ask whoever doesn't mind to turn on video. Um, okay, so what do we have on the agenda today? O13.4, testnet upgrade and potential action items, native, and potential updates on consensus and the P2P front. Okay, so I'll start with O13.4 related stuff. So testnet was upgraded yesterday. Modulo, a few issues around simulation, I think were basically fine. The issues that I know of at least, there are two. One, some division by zero around L2 and around max L2 gas to start the simulation with on Pathfinder. I don't know if it happens on other implementations as well. And another, which may be a blockifier issue, we still don't know. We're looking into it. Um, but some weird discrepancy between simulated amount of gas and actual amount of gas used in practice invalidate for a vanilla Starksig. So a vanilla Starksig transaction validate in simulate supposedly costs 25 gas, but if you send it to the network with those limits, you get an error that you actually need 90 gas. And this is not related to L2 gas, Sierra, and redeposits. This is all old classes, old RPC. So uh, um, we need to dive deeper. But those are the two issues I know that at the moment exists around simulation and estimates. Um, I don't know if anyone has something to say about it now, but um, in general, we're tracking it, and if you have any updates, then please let us know asynchly. Um, and yeah, hopefully these will be closed soon. Other than this, I don't know of any issues for RPC providers. The upgrade to the latest node versions seem to have gone relatively smoothly, so that's great. And the last thing is the mainnet upgrade. We aim for sometime mid to end March, but we still don't have a finalized date. So we'll say more when we have a definite date. So all of 3 weeks, that's the TLDR. Around native, any questions about O13.4? Anyone wants to add anything? Okay, great. So around native, Lambda class released 0.32. It fixes or refactors all the array-related libfuncs to no longer copy arrays on writes. So anything which plays with arrays is now much more efficient. They replayed a bunch of blocks. Everything looked fine, but just when we were about to integrate with it, they noticed an issue related to dictionaries. They have a similar mechanism to arrays in dictionaries where they copy the dictionary whenever a snapshot of the dictionary is taken. But there is nothing you can do at the moment and in the foreseeable future in Cairo with a snapshot of a dictionary. Any dictionary operation is actually a write. So if you hold in Cairo a snapshot of a dictionary, there is literally no operation you can do with it. So if they implement it in native as just a null pointer that's being passed around, everything should work. So they are looking into that and expect 0.33 of native, which handles the dictionary issue. And hopefully this will be the last one before we turn it on the sequencer. Any question related to native? I know that basically all nodes, while they run the latest blockifier, don't compile to native yet or try to use native, since we had all the new RPC to worry about. But in case someone intends to do it soon or wants further clarifications. Yeah, Christian.
Just wanted to ask, as soon as you enable native on the sequencer, that will involve an upgrade of the underlying Cairo native crate, right? So will you just release a new version of Blockifier with that upgrade?
I think we will release a new RC with whatever changes accumulate up to mainnet or earlier if we have them soon. For example, if the fee issue, like the max gas related issue, that will be a Blockifier issue, then we'll probably have a new RC next week. But TLDR, yes, we will release a new RC with the upgraded crate. But given that it's all like internal libfunc implementation, you shouldn't notice it. I know that shouldn't has failed us before, but that's
No, just asking because Cairo native is not a direct dependency of ours at the moment. But so anyway, we'll probably need a new Blockifier release just in order so that we can upgrade.
because it's under the native feature.
Oh, yes.
Uh,
Anyway, thanks. It's
oh,
all clear.
any other questions? Okay, so I think that pretty much closes our 13.4. We'll touch base around fee issues and gas issues when we have more info. Before jumping to consensus stuff, if anyone has updates there, there's one thing I wanted to revive, which is extracting data from L1. I know we haven't talked about it for ages, and at the moment, I think the latest code that is floating around is able to decode blobs from O13.1, like the first Starknet version that started using blobs on Ethereum. And there is more code floating around that can only decode call data from very old Starknet blocks. And basically, there's a bunch of updates to both the way data is sent and both the state diffs format. O13.3 added compression. O13.4 added stateful compression, where keys and contract addresses are referred to via index, starting from the first block of O13.4. So this is just now getting into effect. And what I'd like to have is some capability on nodes to read those blobs, to read the state diffs in state update transactions that are sent to L1. I don't know exactly how it would look like. It can be a separate binary that's shipped alongside the node. I don't know if you think there's something that makes more sense, then please share. But I imagine some tool that, given the transaction hash or even the Starknet block numbers, finds the relevant state update transaction on L1, reads all the blobs that were sent on this L1 transaction, does the appropriate decoding. The appropriate decoding is basically you need to do some IFFT to get the actual contents of the Starknet data, and then you need to decompress according to the O13.4 and O13.3 state diffs. And then you actually have the state diff format. There is code that does this before the compression, so it handles the IFFT for a single blob. So basically, this is Rust, and we need to add compression and handling multiple blobs. Yeah, I think it's useful. I think it's kind of bad that at the moment there's essentially no straightforward way to do it. And if it's shipped alongside nodes, it will probably make it much easier for various explorers to decode our data. Most notably BlobScan, which at the moment doesn't decode Starknet blobs. It shows Starknet state updates, but it's just the blob. You have no idea what's going on there. Thoughts, objections? I'll interpret this as it's a very good idea and probably isn't very hard to implement. Okay, I assume that as teams will start looking into it, there will be a bunch of concrete questions on how to exactly do it. But I will send this on the Zoom chat. I have no idea if this goes on the stream. But this page is mostly updated. It includes the various changes in the format in Starknet versions. It is missing 0.13.2, which started spreading large state updates across multiple blobs. So as of 0.13.2, you have 6 blobs, all of which cover a state diff of a potentially large block range. So this does not appear there. We'll soon add it. But in general, this page should be good in a day or so. And by good, I mean capture all the historical changes. Okay. If no one wants to say anything about blobs, then I leave it to any team who wants to update either consensus stuff or 13.4 stuff or anything else that's on your mind. So speak up or raise your hand if you want to say something. Yeah, Ryan, go ahead.
I had a small question related to the default RPC endpoint. So what we've seen recently is a few issues related to users who are sending RPC version 7 requests to the default endpoint. However, the providers update that to 08 and things break. And so I was just kind of curious if it's worth raising this, and specifically if we should maybe remove the default endpoint and require users to specify the RPC version. What's the kind of thoughts on there?
Well, do you see it in your own provider service?
We've had 2 users run into this problem, basically. Yeah. For example, they're using an SDK version that's v7 at the moment, and they're sending requests to our provider, which updated to 8.
I don't think we should do it. I mean, I kind of like that the fact that people who are manually sending transactions from SDK seeing that there is some code that will have to change. That was sort of the purpose of not including old transaction versions in the right API of 4.8, even if they don't do nothing for now and just, okay, I will add /0.7 the URL, but at least they are sort of aware. And wallets and like automated services that are sending transactions on behalf of users, I think they're not using the default API for a long time. And if it was the case, we would have heard someone complaining by now, like massively complaining. And given that, I think it's okay for individuals using SDKs to notice this and potentially either change code or change the URL. This is my take, at least.
Okay, cool. It's good to have that extra context. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Cool. Anyone else?
Yeah, on our side, just to update, we have 2 well-advanced branches, one for P2P, which is the 463, and one for consensus support, which is the 477. Those 2 are queued into our exploration effort, which is the Quasar branch. So if you're looking into it in Madara, we are stabilizing it for having options in production. So you should actually look for it into external branches. So those are the two ones we are working on, and they are actually going pretty well. We are in sync with Informal and the other teams for P2P.
Right now, a Madara network can produce blocks and verify blocks with Malachite.
No, yeah. So we are still in developing those, starting with P2P because the consensus branch needs P2P. So we are queuing both, but we hope that next month we should have something interesting and ready for testing.
Okay, cool. Was there so far consensus aside only like vanilla P2P? Not sure what the name. Was there a network that included Madara and other nodes, even locally, anywhere?
Sorry?
Did you ever try to sync from Pathfinder or Juno so far?
Yes, so we are syncing from Pathfinder and Juno in P2P. We are currently building our images so that we can forward them to the Nethermine testing suite and ensure we pass all tests. I believe we will have some problems here and there, but we are almost done with P2P. So
Nice.
yeah, we will see with the testing suite from Nethermine.
Okay, that's great. Okay. If there's no one else, we can probably make it a short one. Maybe one more small thing, which I raised on the chat yesterday, I think, which is custom version constants. So I kind of liked what Madara is doing there, which basically allows you to override any version constants of any Starknet version. And I'm wondering if you think it makes sense to allow on other implementations. There is no like standard, just some config, some CLI, you specify a path, and then there's no like ambiguity. There's only one format. It is the Starknet version constants of a single version, and up to you to provide those for whatever versions you want to override. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I think this can become like part of the Starknet like specs. So if other teams align on going that path, it will be great. So that all the options can benefit from it, and Starknet is aligned.
Okay. Okay, good. So I think that pretty much closes it. And since it's probably a much lower hanging fruit than the other thing I talked about, then if we're talking about priority, it's probably better to close this before getting into anything related to L1 data. Okay. So I'll ask again if anyone wants to add anything, and if not, then good day to everyone. Okay, thanks, guys. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.